Thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football. The 4-1-2. It's a great day to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Let's jump right in. So the Pittsburgh Steelers defeat the Minnesota Vikings 24-21 in Ireland, and it wasn't pretty, but it doesn't matter. A win is a win, and I was totally wrong about the trip to Ireland for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm glad that I was. I predicted the trip to Ireland would be a total disaster for the Steelers, and I was not expecting anything good to come from this trip. But boy, was I wrong. The Pittsburgh Steelers are now 3-1 going into the bye week. They come out of the bye week to play the Cleveland Browns, and we are in excellent position, and I absolutely love it. There were some good things in this game, and there were some bad things, but let's jump into the good things first. First, Aaron Rodgers was excellent. He was 18 for 22 for 200 yards and a touchdown. He was only sacked twice. And Aaron Rodgers, if anybody says that Aaron Rodgers cannot play at this age or isn't making the Pittsburgh Steelers a better team, you are a complete liar and you have Aaron Rodgers derangement syndrome. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going and playing as well as they are playing because of Aaron Rodgers. He could still scramble, he could still move. His mind is sharp. He knows when to get rid of the ball. He has been playing excellent football. And if anybody says differently, then you're just not watching the games. Then the Pittsburgh Steelers finally went over 100 yards rushing for the day. Kenneth Gainwell, 19 carries, 99 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I love what I saw from him today. Picking up the tough yards, running hard. He had a long carry of 15 yards. I was wondering, I'm like, where the hell is Jalen Warren? Then I found out that he was ruled out right before the game. I think he was suffering an illness. You saw Caleb Johnson get some carries, 6 carries for 22 yards. I could not be happier with the Pittsburgh Steelers sticking to the run and making sure they try to run the football, getting the same back, 19 carries in a row. I would like to see that for Jalen Warren when Jalen Warren comes back from injury. We need to get Jalen Warren the football 20 to 21 times. Kenneth Gainwell has proved that he could do the job. So we have 2 very capable backs. Now let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers receivers, DK Metcalf. I mean, when you see DK Metcalf out there on that field, this is the NFL with grown men, with the cream of the crop athletes in the entire world. When you see DK Metcalf on that field physically and the way he can run, the way he takes off after a catch, he is head and shoulders better physically than pretty much 99.9% of the NFL. He is a freak of nature. And when he gets that football in his hand and he takes off, it's like a freight train running at you. The long touchdown catch that he had of 80 yards. Yes, Aaron Rodgers puts the ball perfectly in a small window. There was a small crease there. And you saw when he caught that football and he just puts it into extra high gear and he takes off. He is a sight to see on the football field. This was the big day that I knew was eventually coming for DK Metcalf. 5 receptions, 126 yards and a touchdown. He had a long touchdown of 80 yards and 5 targets. Kenneth Gainwell, 6 receptions, 35 yards. Darnell Washington, 3 for 20, 3 targets. Calvin Alston left the game with an injury. He had 2 receptions for 13 yards. I really like what I saw today from the Pittsburgh Steelers offense, game planning for the Minnesota Vikings defense, bringing those jumbo packages onto the field. I'm pretty sure it was Spencer Anderson, the extra offensive lineman that they would bring on from time to time to really push the Vikings off the line of scrimmage with big country Darnell Washington also in the game. These new wrinkles to the Pittsburgh Steelers offense I haven't seen, and today they looked excellent game planning for the Minnesota Vikings. I really like what I saw today. It was either Spencer Anderson or Calvin Anderson. I don't recall which lineman exactly it was, but I know that the Steelers were adding an extra lineman into the jumbo package, and it worked all day against the Minnesota Vikings. And I absolutely loved it. Smash mouth football from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Broderick Jones seemed to have a much better day today than he had in a while. I don't know. I have to look at the all 22 film, but my initial reaction, that's what it seems like. The Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line, as far as run blocking, this was the best day that they had in a very, very long time. And a lot of NFL insiders say that the Minnesota Vikings defense is one of the best in the league. So I'll take this for what it's worth. It was a very good day for the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line. Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense today had 10 total tackles for a loss. That's absolutely amazing. They had 6 sacks and 2 interceptions, and they would have had a fumble recovery for a touchdown on the first play, if not for a very smart play by the Minnesota Vikings running back, Jordan Mason, who at the last second touched the ball and then took his leg and put it out of bounds. Very intelligent play. I had no clue what was actually going on when I watched the game, why the ball wasn't ruled a fumble or on the play. Jalen Ramsey ends up hurting his hamstring, returning the ball for a touchdown. Peyton Wilson had 13 total tackles, 8 solo, 2 tackles for a loss. Patrick Queen looked very good today, too. 11 total tackles, solo, 8 tackles, 1 sack, 3 tackles for a loss. Deshaun Elliott, 6 total tackles, 4 solo, 1 sack, 1 tackle for a loss, 1 interception. TJ Watt, 5 total tackles, 3 solo, 1 sack, 1 tackle for a loss, 1 interception. Great play by TJ Watt. Nick Herbig is an absolute monster. He had 5 total tackles, 3 solo, 1.5 sacks, 1 tackle for a loss. But the entire day, Nick Herbig coming off the line of scrimmage, explosive, fast, twisting and turning, putting pressure on Carson Wentz all day long. Nick Herbig needs to be in the starting lineup. When Alex Highsmith comes back, he needs to be the reliever. It's obvious. Nick Herbig needs to be the full-time starter. When you watch the games, he jumps off the screen. There are no give me's in the NFL. It doesn't matter if the Minnesota Vikings were missing some offensive linemen. When Nick Herbig is on the field, you could feel it like the quarterback only has a second he has to get rid of the ball because Nick Herbig is coming. He's doing an excellent job lined up across from TJ Watt. It's a great tandem. It's a great pass rush. You saw the pressure all day today. Keanu Benton played a lot better today. Keanu Benton had 4 total tackles, 2 solo. He had 1.5 sacks, 1 tackle for a loss. He caused havoc all day today, so I was happy for Keanu Benton. Cam Hayward, he had a quiet day. They don't have him having any tackles for the day, but on the interception by TJ Watt, he got his big paw up on the ball and TJ Watt picked off the ball. This is Cam Hayward. This is what he does. He makes plays. And even if he can't make a tackle or get a sack, he's always getting his big paws on the football. And if it wasn't for Cam Hayward, TJ Watt doesn't get that interception. Great play by Cam. Deshaun Elliott also had an interception. So the Pittsburgh Steelers defense today, they were very busy. 10 tackles for a loss, 6 sacks, 2 interceptions. This is Pittsburgh Steelers defense. This is what we need to do. We need to mix it up. We need to get dirty. We need to play smash mouth. And a win's a win. Doesn't matter if it's pretty. Doesn't matter if it's ugly, as long as you win. Now, we had a blown coverage late in the game. I'm not exactly sure if it was Juan Thornhill or Darius Slay. Somebody busted a coverage, and the play was going to go for a touchdown. Towards the end of the game, Peyton Wilson hustles all the way to the end of the play, 30, 40 yards downfield, trips up the back right before the end zone. And that's a huge play because it took time off the clock, even though eventually the Minnesota Vikings ended up scoring. That is a great play by Peyton Wilson. His motor never stops. He has been struggling in the last 2 weeks, so I'm glad to see Peyton Wilson finally have an excellent game. You know, I'm really surprised today that Jabril Peppers wasn't on the field more. I think Jabril Peppers needs to be the starting safety next to Deshaun Elliott. I don't want to hear free, strong. I think he could do it all, and I think he's a much better player than Juan Thornhill and Chuck Clark. That's just my opinion. So I was surprised he wasn't on the field at all today. Chris Boswell gets a field goal attempt block, and Pat Fryermuth is to blame. He puts his head down. He totally whiffs on the play. He does not make an effort at all to block the guy. Pat Fryermuth has not played good football in a very long time. This entire extra point block is because of his lack of effort. He puts his head down on the play, doesn't even make an attempt to block anybody. Pat Fryermuth is getting paid a lot of money. I can't even tell you the last time he's had a good game. To me, it seems like he has mentally checked out, and I am super disappointed in Pat Fryermuth's play and effort, and he really needs to get his act together. Chris Boswell, 1 of 2 for field goals. long 33, extra points. He was 3 for 3. I really like what I saw from the Pittsburgh Steelers defense today, being super aggressive. A lot of times they were rushing 7 defenders, and I like that. If we're gonna go down, let's go down swinging. Let's go down being aggressive, blitzing linebackers most of the time, whether it's Patrick Queen or Peyton Wilson. The Pittsburgh Steelers were bringing heat. Even sometimes they were blitzing Jalen Ramsey from the inside corner. I love seeing that. I love seeing Blitzburg football. That's what I want to see. I want to see aggressive defense. And the Pittsburgh Steelers today were really putting the heat on Carson Wentz. Jalen Ramsey, he has been a liability in coverage all year. Teams have been targeting him time and time again. Jalen Ramsey was picked on again today for a touchdown. Opposing offenses have been targeting Jalen Ramsey all season. I don't think he's that shutdown elite cornerback that everybody thinks that he is. Yes, he is an upgrade, but I don't think he's that elite guy anymore. So far, in all 4 games for the Pittsburgh Steelers, opposing offenses have been going at Jalen Ramsey and being very successful. A lot of people are going to be talking about Coach Tomlin's game management and decision making. On 4th down, the Pittsburgh Steelers decide to run it in and they get stopped. I thought it should have been a passing play. I thought the ball should have been in Aaron Rodgers' hands and let him decide where the football is going to go. Then on the 4th down, Coach Tomlin takes a delay of game and gives the Minnesota Vikings the ball back. And it could have been complete disaster for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I do not think these were good decisions by Coach Tomlin today. But the important thing is the Pittsburgh Steelers won the game, and I'll take the victory going 3-1 into the bye week. And with that being said, thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2.